You know, a lot of these people that just constantly talk to you about they think you're an atheist because you want to investigate it. It seems to kind of bother their belief system. Well, I want you to know right now, I'm not here to change your belief system. You can believe anything you want. And if you're a Catholic or a Protestant or a Muslim, a Hindu or a Jew, it doesn't matter. Keep that faith and enjoy it. Man seems to need it more for man than for God. In John 4:24, he states, Jesus is talking and he says, God is spirit, and you should acknowledge him and of course in the King James Version it says worship. You should worship him in spirit and in truth. And Jesus emphasized the idea of that truth, because the truth is God is a loving God, a pure and good loving God. Now, if you think that this is an atheist talking, you're sadly mistaken, nor am I an agnostic. I guess the difference is the atheists celebrate their holiday on April the 1st, and the agnostic, they celebrate every holiday for every religion, everything they possibly can, because they love the pleasure of this life, and they say to you, prove to me there is a God. Well, you prove to me there's not a God. And if you can do that, then I can prove to you there is a God. Doesn't matter. I know there is a God. I don't believe. That word believe to me is a rotten word, because it's like being loaded with doubt. And I think that's a horrible, horrible way to be loaded with doubt. Because then you don't know for sure. But I'll tell you something. Within you, inside of you, you are spirit. You're created with the spirit, and that's what gives you life and intelligence. That's what makes your brain work. And your brain is not your mind. Your mind is something way beyond that. And if I explain that to you, and I will before all these little lectures are over, why, you'll be amazed at how encompassing and how far-reaching and how powerful that mind is. And you'll be there. You'll be with it. But yeah, you are spirit. You are created in the small, that everything God is in the large. Remember in Genesis when it says God was created in, and of course in the King James Version it says the image of God. So then people think God's sitting in a big old chair saying don't do that and don't do this. That's not God. And it's in the regular original Aramaic, language of what Jesus spoke. It says that you are created in the nature of God, meaning you're everything in the small that God is in the large. What does God look like? How does he feel? Where is he sitting? What, and so forth. Well, the Jews had a thing, they wanted to give him a name, and the name was always about some characteristic that went with God. If you read the Old Testament, you'll see several names for God, and they all have to do with the various characteristics. And the funny thing is about those characteristics, they all seem to reach into the characteristics of man, like the commandments. 140 commandments, all through Deuteronomy and Judges and all that, they're all like they benefit and control man. And when Moses brought the 10 strokes down off the mountain, why, they were to control that tribe, that big, huge mess of humanity that hadn't had any control other than what their slave masters gave them. So they have purposes and reasons for all of this, but God's reason is only one, and that's for you to become more godlike, to grow spiritually, to earn the right to use that spirituality. And you can use it in so many different ways. Paul listed in his writing to the Corinthians and the Galatians and the Romans that there were so many different attributes that you could express, all in a season of your life that corresponded with the goodness that's within you. And you can have them all, and you should have them all. That's the beauty of God. Does God reward or punish? Well, he had to begin with, because there was a lot of stupidity going out there. Just like you and I, like Tian says in her book, man would fight to the death to protect his most precious attribute. That's his ignorance. And you're right. A belief system can be believed on anything and everything that's either told to you by someone in authority or you read. But if you keep reading and you read right and you look at things and investigate them and reason them out within you, within that all wisdom and knowledge that God has put within you, you'll know the truth, and that truth will set you free. You'll be a new person. Everything you do, from making love to earning money, will be better because God is in the center of it all and has brought it forth for you. And that includes your health. I know people that have been sick for years that all of a sudden when they started really realizing what God is, was, and can do, they became well. Well, that's not unusual. It's the life. It's perfect. It's the way it's supposed to be. So I've given you one verse out of the Bible. I could give you a dozen more and a lot more things that would maybe should shock or thrill you depending on how it is. But I want to stimulate your thinking. I want you to discover for yourself what truth is, and I don't want to change your belief system. Just want you to know more about it so you can appreciate more of who and what you are. And I want to thank you for letting me come in today to share a little of the very little that I know, and may it be blessed to your understanding.